All right, hey everybody, this is Rob. Welcome back to Smirking Gun Reviews. It's Sunday night, so one of the shows we're reviewing is Westworld Season 2, Episode 4, The Riddle of the Sphinx. So it's just been on, so if you haven't seen the episode, might want to take off right about now because this is going to be full of spoilers. This I gotta give it up to him again. I really thought at first this was a pretty mediocre fucking episode, man. Um, because let's just get into it. Like the riddle of the Sphinx. If you don't know what that is, it's basically this Greek story. Oedipus meets a Sphinx on the road, and the Sphinx, always says these riddles, and it kills anybody that doesn't get it right. And the Sphinx, like I had to look it up, like the riddle, it's pretty obvious once you get it. You probably heard this riddle. It's what goes uh, on four legs in the morning, two in the afternoon, and three in the evening. The answer is man. And if you haven't heard this riddle, I didn't know that this was the riddle of the Sphinx, but once I read it, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard that a million times, just told in a different way. But the answer is man. He crawls on all fours when he's a baby, two when he's an adult, and three when you're old because you use a cane. I guess you can see some of the things. There's kind of a age progression kind of thing, storyline going on here a little bit with William and Mr. Delos. Otherwise, I don't know. I'll leave it to like somebody like D's reviews to go in depth on that kind of storyline. But let's just go into it. There's really only a couple of main things going on here, and I'm glad that they kind of shut down a whole bunch of stories going on here. So we're just gonna break them down, kind of one by one. Just like focused on the one and focus on the other, and then we'll get to the end. Which the ending, I mean, I called it in the last second, but still really looking forward fucking to what's going to happen next, because I really was kind of concerned about this episode, because I was going, well, that's what that is. Boom, it is. That's what that is. Boom, it is. But the last half hour really makes up for this. There are some good moments in the beginning. And not to say that this isn't a good episode all the way through. Jeez. I mean, but let's just start with William visiting Mr. Delos, who that scene kind of reminded me of the second season premiere of Lost, where you see somebody in a, uh, going through the motions of their day, listening to a song, exercising, blah, blah, blah. It really reminded me of that season premiere of Lost, where it's Mr. Delos in this like confined space, kind of doing his thing. And when you see this space, right away, if that you knew that this guy was sick, you knew he was dying. Why is this guy in a room like this? You could say, oh, it's like a hospital or some shit. Like he's rich so he can be in like a room like this. And then when William comes in and they have their little back and forth, you could say, oh, well, maybe he was put here because, he's got enough money that they're doing special tests, and they're really researching like maybe what's wrong with him, and that to keep him in this place, it's, for his own protection and to figure out what's wrong with him and how to fix him. You could go that route. But instantly I was like, he's a fucking robot, right? He died. They put his mind in a robot. Before William even sat down, I was like, he's a fucking robot. Maybe you didn't see, maybe you guys out there didn't see that coming, but it was pretty clear to me right away that this is the beginning of like that storyline. Like this, William, played again really well by Jimmy Simpson and as his younger self. This was the beginnings of the Delos Corporation trying to help people live forever by trying to put their minds in the bodies of a host, or create your body, a version of you, using the technology that they use for hosts, hoping that your mind, a real person's mind, and not a made-up persona that they use for the regular hosts, can function out in the real world. And that's why he's locked up. Because, as the story progresses, you know that he's been in there this has been going on in his own little special loop. And I don't think it's just that Delos had all this money into it, that they chose James Delos as like the guinea pig. I think they chose it because I think William doesn't mind seeing him get burned over and over and over again. I think in his mind, it's very fitting that the man who didn't fund this project and then later in his life did, and, is now the experiment that he can look back on and set on fire anytime he glitches out, all in the name of helping men live forever. That kind of bummed me out that I knew right away that this was going to be a continuing thing. Because yes, then William, not Jimmy Simpson, the actor, William, the character, comes back again. And you knew, I knew when he read that paper, showed him the paper the first time, that he was going to be the exact conversation. So then the second time, they just kind of quickly jump to, he sees the paper, is that conversation? I was right. So I was getting kind of irritated with that. Like, oh, come on, Westworld, what do you got? You're much fucking better at tricking me than you are right now. But, as they go on, you can kind of see the attitude that young William has about this, like, as he realizes he's a robot but still wants out, and his explanation of why you can't come out, you're glitching, you're freaking out, which was really well done by that actor. So instead of going to the next part of the story, I'm just going to focus still on this, where now it's Ed Harris as William coming in, and I like the little tweaks to the story here, the loop, where the guy's always saying, hey, it's about time you're here, and now it's, who the fuck are you? And they just kind of get into it where, after all these years, they have not been able to crack the code on getting a human, to be able to last long in a host body. That's a very good sign for humanity, in my opinion, because I don't like this way that they're headed, but I guess that's just normal, right? This is where we go. The rich would try to live forever somehow. But who wouldn't, there's that question of who would and who wouldn't, what's the benefits of living forever? I don't know. I'm not going to get into my own personal feelings on this, but it's nice to see that here they are, this many years, they're still going. Years and years have passed. Mr. Delos' wife has been dead. William's wife committed suicide. Logan OD'd a long fucking time ago. No big loss on there. But you can see that he didn't leave. He left out his granddaughter, which is interesting. Delos' granddaughter, William's daughter. And this thing, like him having this back and forth, like now they're both old men. Like they have like the Riddle kind of like, I was a man and now I'm an old man. And I find it strange that after all this time, Ed Harris's now character, like the man in black, is realizing that maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe, and kind of like how Dolores says we're not all meant to make it. And we've got the man in black saying, not every man should live forever. I really like that stuff, and I guess to intersperse that stuff with the Man in Black's story arc in this episode of, playing Ford's game. He's with Lawrence. That whole thing with using the real people as, were those hosts? I thought they were guests, but they could be hosts. I have a feeling, it seems like some of these hosts are turning on the other hosts, and like the Indians, the Ghost Nation, which had all these captives of real people, the guests, and now you get the Chinese railroad workers playing track with what I think it's hosts, and I could be wrong, but it seems like the some hosts are killing other hosts. If I'm wrong about that, if you have a different thought on that, if you know for sure that those were real, the actual guests, put it in the comment section. I'm a little confused on that, but I do believe it's the hosts killing hosts. And how William kind of had that throwaway line a little bit of like, people have got a bunch of different things going on here. This train is supposed to go north and it's going west. So people's ideas are converging or, branching off into different things. So, I like that he's starts out one way and, he helps out, he doesn't look like he's really helping out the Lawrence's family and his little village of robots. But in the end, he kind of, he does. And that was another disappointing part of this episode was Major Craddock. I thought that the Jonathan Tucker's character, Major Craddock, was going to be used better. I thought he was going to be kind of on a revenge kick, against Dolores. And really all he was used for was he's still going after glory. I don't know what that glory is. He wasn't very specific about it. Like if he's talking about going after Dolores, he is not being very clear about it. But I feel like he's just on another. He's kind of gone back to his programming a little bit, except that he doesn't think he can die. So I kind of felt like his Major Craddock's part of the show was kind of like, I really hope to get a little bit more from him. But to see William's Man in Black kind of seem to change the way he's doing things a little bit is okay, I guess. I mean, a little redemption. But as we can see at the end of it with the girl who's speaking probably, forward, that, one good deed, doesn't redeem you from everything you've done. And his response of like, you want me to play the game where, I'm going to play the way you want it to the bone. Which is really cool. I really fucking love Ed Harris anyway. And he's being a really standout character this season for sure. I mean, he was great last year, but I think he's going to have a lot more meaty, juicy stuff to do this time in this season by the end. I think we're going to see a crazy kind of Clint Eastwood Unforgiven maybe kind of performance and storyline. Because I don't see the Man in Black getting out of this. I mean, he is dying, right? So, but he's got that kind of like one last ride kind of thing. Literally, that shot where they're all riding out reminded me of things like Tombstone or Unforgiven. And that's kind of about it there. I'm going to stop before I get to the very end and get to the Bernard story where Clementine has been dragging Bernard across the desert. And I was like, okay, I didn't realize that was happening. I thought she was, she was going to drag her back to Dolores. But no, she's been programmed to take him somewhere special. And this was where I should have seen this coming. I didn't. This is where the episode started to pick up for a minute for me. Was the return of Elsie, played by Shannon Woodward. I've loved her since Raising Hope. That was one of my biggest criticisms of season 1. Was fucking, you killed Elsie, you bastards. But now we see that she's been chained up eating protein bars and ketchup packets, and she looks really good though for being in a cave eating barely anything, pretty clean. So, and it's been a long time. So how does she look this good? I don't know, Little nitpicks here and there because it has been a long time now since she's been gone. At least a couple of weeks in this timeline, right? And I really like, her attitude about everything should be this way. She should want to shoot Bernard, all this stuff. But they had a good connection in season 1, and it's nice to see them gradually over the course of this episode fucking get that back. So, when they find that secret place that Bernard knew was there, or I was thinking, oh, this is Arnold's memories, or Bernard's memories when Ford was controlling him. So he's seeing where the thing is, and he's going in there, and they're seeing the bodies, which was kind of weird because they didn't look to be that old, but this was kind of a by itself bunker, so this couldn't have been, I was like, this wasn't part of that massacre, right? So who killed these people? Because they're pretty fresh bodies. And, they find this bunker, and they go inside, and they cut away. Now, it's important to know, like, that at the last part of Man in Black walking away from old man Ed Harris version of William, leaving James Delos to just tear apart the place, and he's not going to set it on fire. They just leave him buried there. That's how still cold and hard the Man in Black is. That thing in there isn't even really him. I mean, it's got part of his mind, but really that man's dead. But he still hates him so much he's going to leave his robot brain, human brain and a robot body thing going nuts in there. So when they go in there into the bunker and they open up that door, and you find out that it's the room, that's where they were testing out the very first human brain in a robot body experiment. Sounds like a C-Lab episode. He's still in there. He's still freaking in there. He killed the technician, and I love the way that the lights changed and stuff, and it kind of looked like some of the lights that you'd see it like in Aliens, like real bright, like dark red, and the music was real atmospheric, and you see this thing, and he's all cut up, and he's gone completely overboard, and he probably shouldn't be working right now, but he is. And it's fucking amazing. And, of course, she doesn't shoot him when she should, and it's up to Bernard to jump in and save her and everything. And that line, really great line, is he's laying there dying, or not dying really, just on the ground, incapacitated, and he says, "There was a story of two fathers, one above, one below. They lied. When you're looking up, it's just you looking back at yourself. Like you're your own devil. There is no God. You're just looking at yourself, and you're the devil, basically." And I just really like that line. They set the room on fire instead of shooting him. If you're gonna, was that the deal with the devil thing? You gotta give some. It's pretty. This guy James Delos, man, he must have been a real piece of fucking shit. But he gets some really good lines, and the actor is really, really good. So I'm really happy to see the Bernard and Elsie, are working together again. But here we go. Right at the end, we realize, and they show us, that who killed those people in the bunker? It was fucking Bernard. And it must not have been that long ago. So who was in control of him when he did that? Was it him? Or is it the fake him claiming who wants to do what he wants now that he's finally in control and nobody's pulling his strings? Who was controlling him when he killed all those guys? Who was the person who told him to take that other mind thing, that other one human? And who is that one human, I wonder? We don't know. But going forward, Elsie thinking that he's promised that he's not going to hurt her and never lie to her. Well, I don't know. I don't think we can trust Bernard. I think he believes that he doesn't want to lie and hurt, but I mean, you can't trust it. You can't trust it at all. So, going forward, yay, major ups. This episode really does finish up really strong, because here we are, Man in Black, out on the road, stops. It's got that great shot of the sunset and somebody riding up close. And as soon as I saw the hair, I went, it's his fucking daughter, man. And as soon as I said it's his daughter, I was like, it's fucking Grace. Holy fucking shit, it was Grace. Hello, Dad. Man, Westworld, you did it again. You kind of had me on the ropes there for a second, but you got me in the end. I can't wait for next week. We're gonna get to Thandie Newton out there, and they're calling it what some people are saying Shogun World or whatever. I'm still going with Eastworld trademark. I think that just sounds more like Westworld, Eastworld. Simple. Anyway, this was a great episode. I hope you like this review. I know I'm not as exciting as maybe I am on My Handmaid's Tale, but this was a really fucking great episode. I can't wait for next week. If you like this episode or this video, please hit the like button. We are at 42 subscribers, 8 more to 50. And we will be doing if you've watched My Handmaid's Tale videos, there is a contest for when we hit 50 subscribers that has to do with that show. So please subscribe if you want to be a part of that, and go check out those videos. And that's about it. We will see you on the next Westworld video. We've got Legion, we've got Handmaid's Tale, comic reviews on Wednesday, and other stuff that's coming up pretty soon. So yeah, keep checking out the channel. This is Rob from Smirking Gun Reviews saying thank you very much for all your support, and I hope to see you guys again soon.